So just the other day, I completed Alan Wake 2, and it's been a long time coming. The game came out in October of 2023, if I remember correctly, and I was more excited than I had any right to be whenever that game finally released. And just the other day, I decided to boot it up. There was maybe a collectible or two I was missing in the DLC, and then there was literally one collectible I missed in the main story. But I finally got to the point where I have completed everything. Found everything, did everything. It shows 100% in my achievement log. I'll probably post it right there. Looks good. Looks gravy. Anyway, completed it. But that made me kind of want to yap about it for a second because I really, really enjoyed Alan Wake 2. But I also really enjoy just Alan Wake as a franchise and, of course, just Remedy as a whole. So I figured we'd just take a moment and just kind of yap it up about some Alan Wake. But I kind of wanted to give you kind of a debrief on my history with Alan Wake and how it kind of led up to this. So back in 2010, when the original Alan Wake first released, I actually didn't know anything about it. In 2010, I was in 10th grade, but back then, I was invested in video games, played them all the time, but I didn't watch for announcements, or I didn't watch trailers unless it was Call of Duty. And 2010, it was Black Ops 1. So there was a lot of that in that time. So as I've gotten older, of course, I keep up far more with the gaming stuff than I did back then. And I had a friend who had just bought Alan Wake, the first game, and he played through it, and he really enjoyed it. But to him, and his name was Jonathan, but to him, it was kind of a one playthrough type game. It wasn't something that you would continue to play. He just kind of played it, put it on his little TV stand in his bedroom, and that was that. But I went over to his house a lot, after school, and one day I went over to his house and he was playing it, and I saw it on the TV, and I was like, well, that looks really interesting, because I'd never, as someone at the time who I think I had only played BioShock in terms of story games, and then the campaigns on Call of Duty, and realistically that was the most that I did around that time. There may have been a couple of others that I can't remember, but anyway, he let me borrow his copy of the original Alan Wake, and I brought it home and I played through it, and I ended up loving it so much that I bought all the DLC for it whenever it came through, and I ended up adoring it. And it's honestly thanks to him that I guess I got into Alan Wake so early, even in the year that it released. But yeah, so that's how I ended up started playing that. So I've 100%ed the first Alan Wake game a couple of times. I've had a few different Xbox accounts, so I've completed it a couple of times, and even on this most recent account that I have now, it's completed on there too. So basically, I love Alan Wake, and same with Alan Wake's American Nightmare. Even though it's not as good, I still really enjoy that too. But when they finally announced Alan Wake 2, I think that was 2022 Game Awards, or it was 2021 Game Awards. But they announced it, and I had zero expectation. I did not think that we were going to get Alan Wake 2 ever. I thought that was it. We got the first game, and then that was that. But they ended up announcing it, and then I got super excited, pre-ordered it probably immediately, but could only do it digitally at the time because they only had they weren't going to make physical copies, which I do now. You can't see it because it's up here somewhere in alphabetical order, but I do have my copy of Alan Wake 2 now because they released physical copies now. But I have that sitting up there now too because I just had to have it. And then, of course, now we have the thermos up here as well. You can kind of see that there. But basically, I downloaded the game, loved it, and then finally finished it 2 years later because it just took time. Other games have been coming out, and then I'd pick it up on the in between. So after I finished it the first time, I'd kind of pick it up and play through it. But a couple of things: if you haven't played Alan Wake 2, I'm not going to spoil the game. I just kind of want to yap a little bit about it because I love it so much, but I don't want to spoil it just in the event that you might want to get on and play it one day. And if it's something that you've considered, because I know it just hit the PlayStation Plus catalog, I think last month. I don't know if it's still there. If it is, and you have PlayStation Plus, play it because it's incredible. Even if you've never played the previous games, I'm certain that it'll probably enthrall you just like it did a lot of people. But it was a long time coming when that one finally came out. But a couple things. One, it is absolutely drenched in atmosphere. The game, it's very dark, it's very gritty, but it's also gorgeous. Just even if you're in Alan's version of like the Dark Place, New York, that looks really, really nice. Or if you're playing a Saga and you're in Bright Falls or you're in Watery and you're just kind of seeing like just, people living their lives and doing their things. Like it's very colorful in moments, but it's also very depressing and just very real feeling. It does feel like you're kind of watching the show Twin Peaks, which is kind of what Sam Lake goes for in the Alan Wake games. But it's just wonderful. It's gorgeous. If you like realistic forests, or if you're scared of a horror game that's based like in like a realistic like Pacific Northwest like foresty area, it's very like that. Like there are a lot of moments where you're walking through forest and it gets really like creepy, scary, and so if you're into that, just be aware of that because sometimes it's a little spooky. It is a horror game though, so it's kind of meant to be that way. The story also is it's very engrossing. It's a continuation of the first game, and it does things that I really like. There's things that I'm indifferent about, but I still really enjoy. Ultimately, like overall, that they did really well. It does have a lot of twists. It does have a lot of twists and turns. Of course, a lot of those just pre-exist kind of within the story itself, but like there's things too that are missing from the first game. Like Barry from the first game is not in this game. You can find him in the like text logs and stuff like that, or you can find him in emails where he's like emailing Alice, Alan's wife, about things. You can read things that he's like up to and that he's doing, but he's not in the game, and that. And like I get it if there's like there's no place for him to be there, but I like the Barry a lot in the first game. He was a great like side like comedic kind of character. So I do kind of wish he was still in this one, like physically at the very least. Or if they make an Alan Wake 3, which at this point I hope they do, then I hope that Barry is included in some way, shape, or form because he's great. But yeah, the story is fantastic. It's a big mystery, Alan's in the dark place, trying to get out of the dark place. How do we get out of the dark place is basically what it is. Without like spoiling anything, because if you don't know anything about it, I really think that you should jump in and give it a shot. The only things that I can truly think of outside of like Barry not being included is really it's kind of Saga Anderson's character. Like she's great, and I don't have any problems with her really because she's well written and she's great at acting, like the lady that plays her. But she definitely feels like she was added to the game because of new people that haven't played Alan Wake before. Like she feels like she was added just as like you're new to the story, she's also new to the story, so she's going to be learning things kind of at the same pace as the player. So in some ways, like she kind of treads over some of the same like story beats, like if you've played the previous games and you kind of understand a little bit of what's going on with Remedy. But at the same time, she kind of introduces new concepts to the story too. So there's things that she notices and that things that are happening to her that I didn't really think that were possible in Alan Wake, and it turns out some of those things were. And of course, I won't say anything. Just experience it for yourself if you haven't already. But there's just things that happen to her specifically that I didn't realize, or it never crossed my mind that those things could happen. And I appreciate her story for that. It's just a lot of the, like, her being new, like, it does feel like it's kind of like tailoring to people that have never played Alan Wake before. So it feels like she's just kind of there as like a, hey, you've never been here before, learn about it. But that it's such a small thing because overall she's really great and I really like her as a character. But yeah, like, Alan Wake 2, it's fantastic. The completion, realistically, it's really easy. Like the achievements or trophies, whatever you're playing on Steam or whoever, it's all really easy to do. The game kind of just puts everything on a platter. Like they give you maps to the collectibles in game. Like you can walk through and find virtually anything and everything that you want to find. And the game makes it really easy to do that. And I appreciate it for that. I like games that like kind of lets you be able to do things like that. I hate having to look up guides, and if I have to look up guides, I'll do it in some situations, but sometimes if the game can just literally tell you what you need, then that's what I prefer. I'd rather the game show me than somebody on YouTube show me. But sometimes they're there for a reason, and I need them for that. But I'd love to know if you've played Alan Wake 2, and if you have any feelings, if you liked it a lot, or if you didn't like it, or if you just want to kind of discuss what's going on in your world of horror today, because I also love just horror games in general. But Alan Wake 2, it's fantastic. Just did the completion on it. It was wonderful. Just wanted to kind of yap for a few minutes about it, just because I know we're past Halloween now, and I kind of meant to make this video during Halloween, or at least during the month, October. But I just never got around to it. I had, other stuff coming out with achievements and other lore videos that I like to make and stuff like that. But anyway, would love to hear what you have to say about it. Of course, like the video if you enjoyed. A comment if you want to discuss. Subscribe if you like what I do here on the channel. Otherwise, we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye-bye.